Today we're diving in talking about how to build a DIY Kydex press so you can make Kydex sheaths just like this in under $20. So stay tuned. We're going to show you all the materials you need, the tools you need, and we're going to dive right into this. So stay tuned. If you like these kind of videos, like and subscribe, and let's get going. So the first material you need is some type of wood. So when I was at the hardware store, I was looking around for the cheapest thing possible, and the cheapest thing I came across was this common board. So this is a 1x4 by 8 foot long. It ran from anywhere from $6 to $7, and I'm sure you could find these probably cheaper, or they might be more expensive depending on where you live. But this is going to be the basis of the Kydex press, is the wood. The next thing we bought was a squeak-free door hinge, and it was only $3. Okay, for our foam, we're going to be using this kneeling pad, and I got this from Home Depot for like $7 or $8. Pretty cheap, and I only went with one of them because for my application, we're going to be making this small press. So from here to here, it's about 13 inches. We're going to split it in half, and that's going to give us enough room to make knife sheaths and small hatchet sheaths and stuff. And you can see I already have it marked out here on the back what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut this portion off because it has the hand hole there. If you find a piece of foam that doesn't have that hole, you're going to be able to make a bigger Kydex press, but we're just going to make this little compact press, so this isn't going to be much of an issue. And it seems like a really high quality piece of foam. Some of the kneeling pads you get aren't really high quality foam, but this one seems to be pretty good. There we go. Okay, and I've already measured this out, but we can measure it again to make sure we're going to be spot on with it. So about 13 1/4 inches, and we're going to go about 6 3/4 inches right there to make our cut. The way I'm going to make this is we're going to make it to where it hinges back here and then it closes forward. So if we were going to put a knife on there and make a sheath, the knife handle would stick out right here, or probably a little bit further in, and we would still be able to press that over. But we're going to make it probably 2 boards width. So we're going to use 2 foot long boards here, and then we'll make the top. So we'll need to cut 4 12-inch sections here. We're going to cut 2 pieces for each, the top and the bottom, that run the width, and we're going to press those together and screw them down. That way it makes it a little bit more rigid when we put a lot of pressure on it with our clamps. Okay, so we have one section that's 12 inches long. You can see how that's gonna lay right on there. We're gonna make it twice as wide. So we're gonna have 2 of these, and this is gonna be in the middle, but we're gonna cut 3 more sections of this. All right, we got our next sections cut out here, and these are only 7 inches long. We're gonna cut 4 more of these out. Okay, we got everything cut for the most part. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what this kind of looks like mocked up. And this is the side view. So if you can imagine our hinge and everything being back here, and this is gonna flip up and then come down. And let's say your knife would be going in this way with the sheath getting, formed around it. This is kind of what it's gonna be. So for each of the lids, we're gonna pretty much connect the 2 pieces of wood by screwing down these 2 pieces like this, and the same thing for the bottom, and then the foam's going to go in the middle. Just wanted to show you guys kind of a mock-up of this. We're going to go ahead and screw these things together and get them kind of, sanded down and stuff, make them look nice. I mean, you don't have to do all that either, but we're going to make this thing look as nice as we can. So for this project, you really just need minimal items. It's not a lot. You know, a handsaw or any kind of saw to saw your wood up, and maybe a screwdriver, a drill if you have it. I am going to go ahead and take the drill and make some pilot holes that way we don't run the risk of splitting this wood. Then you just need some screws, and that is about it, guys. You don't really have to get too fancy with this. This is like the bare basic way to make a Kydex press. What I'll do for all these. All right, so we got all of those put in there. We're gonna do the same thing for this side, and then we're gonna complete the other lid, and then we'll catch back up with you. All right, we got both sides finished. I think they're looking pretty good. Wood was a little bowed right here, but that's okay. I mean, we don't need pinpoint pressure placed on these. You know, the foam's gonna be doing all the work. So right now, I guess what we'll do is, you know, I'm going to go through later and kind of trim up some of these. I kind of overcut some of these. But I'm going to go through and sand with my orbital sander, and I'm going to clean all of this stuff up. But let's mock this up again and see kind of what it looks like. I'm just going to place it here on the back. And later on, you know, if I were to get some bigger pieces of foam, then we're going to have plenty of room. But what we're going to do is, I'll show you here. We'll go ahead and just screw this piece onto the back here. And then I'm going to put the hinge on the inside. I'm going to push this down a little bit like this. And then we'll screw that in. All right, we're gonna get these screwed in too. All right, got those in there. Seems pretty rock solid. But this was like a super heavy duty door hinge that I found, and it was one of the cheapest ones. This was only like $3.50. It was a lot of really flimsy looking hinges, and they were like 12, 15 bucks. So I figured this would be super heavy duty. It looks really tight tolerance, so I know it's gonna hold up to all this pressure we're gonna put onto this. So I don't have any shorter screws, so I'm just gonna go ahead and send these through and take my angle grinder and cut them off in the back, because yeah, I don't feel like running down the hardware store and buying some more of these. And these pine boards I got, I swear they got so many freaking knots in them. This was one of the better boards that I found. That's the sad part about it. All right, there we go. Nice hair. See, they stick out a little bit, but I'm gonna take my angle grinder and cut those off here in a minute. See where a good place is to kind of mount this. Okay. We're just gonna go with it being completely flush back here in the back. All right, well, we made that hinge work. And that hinge is super smooth. This was like a squeak-free door hinge. Wow, that is just super smooth. But this is gonna give us the ability to upgrade foam, you know, in the future. Because this doesn't look the prettiest, but hey, I'm not into making things look the prettiest. You know, is it gonna perform? And look with this pressure back here that we've created. Once we get our clamp on, you know, we could do a couple different clamps. Look how much pressure that's creating. So that's gonna form our Kydex really, really well. And it's probably gonna be more like this when I'm working on it. Just look how smooth this thing is. So this is the basis of our DIY Kydex press. You know, super cheap, super simple. And I want to say this probably cost, let's see, I think about $6 for the wood, $7 for the foam. And if you had to go out and buy screws or something like that, you could pick up a little box of those cheap ones like I had for probably $3 or $4. So I mean, under 20 bucks, you're getting a nice Kydex press, and then $3 for the hinge. And this is gonna perform, it's gonna get it done. And this is actually a more expensive foam. I'd say if you went to Ross and found like a gardening foam, you could probably find it a lot cheaper. And honestly, that's probably where I need to look. Instead of going to Home Depot or Lowe's, you can find it a lot cheaper. But this thing is gonna perform. Okay guys, right now I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna sand this down, clean it up a little bit, because we got some rough edges and things. If we're gonna make this thing super nice, I want it to be nice. And we're gonna cut these off. All right, DIY Kydex press is finished. And guys, it doesn't have to look the prettiest. I know the foam could be a little bit better. I mean, it could be squared off all the way around, but guys, it doesn't really matter. I mean, this one looks good. If I would have bought 2 mats, you know, 14 bucks total, we could have had 2 nicely squared off mats, but this one's still gonna get the job done, even how it has the rounded corners. And like I said, if you find a nice squared off mat, then you're not gonna run into this problem. But this foam was really thick and it's really high quality foam, so I went with this anyway. So what we're gonna do to put this to the test to see if we can get it to work the way we want to is I have this Kydex sheath right here, and it doesn't really fit too great right now because I kind of left this out in the sun. So what we're gonna do is reheat this thing up. We're gonna get rid of all of the lines and curvatures and everything, and pretty much make this to where it's just regular Kydex again with just the rivets already pre-installed, which is another way that you guys can make sheaths. You know, you could take 2, if you're gonna make a pancake style like this, you can take 2 sheets of Kydex, go ahead and draw out where the blade's gonna be, and go ahead and insert the eyelets and everything. That way it's done before you actually go to the Kydex press. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get our heat gun out and go ahead and get this to where it's just like 2 normal sheets of Kydex, and then we're gonna insert the knife into the press here and get it going and redo this sheath. This probably won't take too long. We're gonna get it flattened out. All right, so you can tell this thing is completely fresh. So no curvatures in it, nothing. We're gonna take this to the oven, and I'm gonna go throw that in there, get it up to temperature, and then I'm gonna bring it back out and throw it in our Kydex press. So I'll be back with you after we get it out of the oven. Get it to where I want it. Right. I think we're gonna go about right there. Go ahead and place the foam on it. We're gonna place 2 of these clamps. There's 1 in place. All right, and sticking with that budget theme, these 2 clamps only cost about $3 from Harbor Freight. And I got these things years ago, so they do hold up. I mean, it's not gonna be the highest quality clamp when it comes to the clamping strength and all that, but if you have 2 of them, you know, it does pretty good. And you can see how compressed this foam is on the sides. So we're gonna let this set for probably, I don't know, 10 more minutes, and we'll be back with you and we're gonna see the results of this thing. This heavy duty hinge back here working really, really nicely. And all we have is those 3 screws down here, 3 up here, and it's holding. Nothing special, guys. We didn't have to go in and bolt nothing down. I mean, we did use quite a few screws to kind of keep this together, but that's just because of all the pressure that we're going to be applying to this through these clamps. But overall, I think this turned out amazing. I mean, we're going to have to see But there should be no reason, I've made a lot of Kydex sheaths, there should be no reason that this sheath doesn't turn out just perfect. And this is a huge knife. I mean, this is a big survival knife, probably the biggest knife I own. And there's plenty of room in there. I mean, you can see that doesn't even go all the way through. Plenty of foam here. So that just goes to show you right there, you don't have to get too fancy with it. You don't have to have an extreme amount of foam, just enough to get this done. Look at that. I mean, I think it looks pretty good. All right, we're back after about 10 minutes. We're gonna take the clamps off here. See how good this did. Look at that. Perfectly center line there. You can see the definition. I know this got a lot of crud and stuff on it. Once upon a time I had to use this thing as a shovel because my truck got stuck in a thing of sand. But look at that definition on this thing. Really, really nice. That foam worked out really good. But overall, look at the definition of this thing. I mean, for just under 20 bucks to make a press like this, I mean, super, super high quality. All right, guys, thanks for checking out this video. I hope you liked this video of the DIY Kydex press. And for under 20 bucks, I mean, you could make a lot of different combinations of Kydex presses. I mean, there's no right or wrong way to make one of these, honestly. And if you wanted to make one super high quality, I mean, there's tons of different types of laminate boards out there. A really, really nice plywood. You don't have to get the cheap stuff. And you can get really creative with this. But I went to the hardware store, got the cheapest piece of wood that I could find, which was these 1x3s or whatever kind of strip wood this is. I don't really know, I just got the cheapest thing. And I think about a 10-foot length was enough to make this. And yeah, we just started piecing this together. Works really well, so about $7 for the wood. I would say add a couple bucks for the hardware if you didn't have screws already laying around. It was around $7 for the kneeling mat, it's a gardening kneeling mat. And then about $3 for the hinge. And you got yourself a DIY Kydex press for not much money invested. So Kydex presses cost a lot of money. If you go on to different Kydex press websites, I mean, they can run way up there. So this is going to be perfect for my application, and we're going to be doing a lot of different Kydex sheaths on the channel. We're going to start making some more sheaths for the axes and stuff. You know, I've already made them for these hatchets, but I have this cold steel Trail Boss axe over here. We're going to be making a sheath for that one come very soon, and also some more of my survival knives and things like that we're going to be making sheaths for. And I just wanted to show you guys with this one, you know, kind of how it formed the sheath and everything. I know we didn't go through and make a belt loop or anything like that, but I just wanted to show you that the definition is possible with a very simple Kydex press like this, and it doesn't have to get too fancy. All right, guys, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Check out my other videos on my main channel page. We have a ton of outdoor related videos and just tons of gear reviews. So if you like that kind of stuff, please check that out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys later.